Hello again, and welcome to ChessBase Workshop. I'm Steve Lopez. Thank you for clicking on the link and joining us. I got to tell you, I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to tell you, this is the most snake-bit video, ChessBase Workshop video I've ever done. This is my 6th take. I can usually do these in a take or two. I've been here all morning trying to get this video done. It's like a gypsy curse. Every time I think I'm out of the woods, another weird thing happens. There's a bang in the background. Something crashes over. There's a, I think my computer crashed at one point. My video software, it just died. This is bizarre. So I can tell you right now, this is the last take. I don't care if it doesn't work. I don't care if smoke rolls out the back of the computer. I don't care if I say bad words. What you see is what you get. 2 weeks ago, 2 videos back in ChessBase Workshop, we showed you how to create a new database and then copy games into it. One of the things we didn't show you at that time was that when you create a new database and copy games in, there are some keys, indexes, that are created automatically. The software just does it for you so you don't have to. One of these is player keys, the alphabetical list of players, where you can click on a player's name. Let's pick somebody who's got a couple of games. And you get their games down here. Actually, the games are here, the tournaments are down here. Sorry. The games are up here. And you can double-click on a game and play through it. Go to tournaments, same thing, alphabetical list of tournaments. Annotators, people that wrote the notes to games. Sources, which is where the games came from. In this case, a whole list of ChessBase magazines. Teams, if somebody played a game in a team tournament, like down here, Jamaica, we have the game right here. We can double-click on it, and we can play through the game. But some things are not created automatically. Some of these keys, one of them is openings, another is themes, tactics, strategy, and endgames. Openings, we showed last week in the last video how to clip out a piece of the large super key and apply it to this database. We created a database on just the Cochrane Gambit. So we don't need all the ECO codes because this is just a sideline of a particular ECO code. Okay? So we don't need all that. All we need to do is take a little bitty piece that applies just to the Cochrane Gambit and copy it from Mega Database or Opening Encyclopedia or the Correspondence Database and copy it into this database to be able to use it. And we did that in the last video. And just to show you what we did, we come over here and this is what we wound up with. We have an opening index, an opening key. That's all keys are. Excuse me, by the way, are indexes. It's just like you open up a chess book, you go to the last few pages, it says Index of Openings, Roy Lopez, Petrov, Caro-Kann, Queen's Gambit, whatever, and you'll see a list of page numbers there beside each opening that tells you what page to go to find a game of that opening. This works exactly the same way, except instead of giving you page numbers, it actually gives you links to the games. You can go right to the games. Show you, for example, Cochrane Gambit, of course, knight takes on f7, king takes back on f7. Typically, white will play d4, and then we have a variety of black responses, one of which is queen e8. So we'll click on it, and after a moment or two, down here, I'll expand the view a little bit, we get a list of games in which black plays queen e8. We can double-click on one of those games, wait a few moments. Happens a little bit quicker than this for you because I'm running video capture software, so it takes a moment to refresh. But what we have is the game. It jumps you right to the position where black has played queen e8. Right to the position in question, and then you can just play through the rest of the game and learn from it. Learn what to do or what not to do. However, that had to be copied from another database. We have other theme types, other key types, I should say, themes, tactics, strategy, and endgames. Here's a little known secret. It's in the help file, so it's not a big secret. You can find it if you look for it. But anything that you can search for in the search mask in ChessBase can be turned into a key, which is really cool. Because if you do searches over and over and over and over again, whether they're position searches, endgame searches, material balance searches, whatever they happen to be, you don't have to keep putting that material into the search mask over and over and over again if you create a key. If it's something you're going to keep coming back to and doing again and again, create a key for it, sort the games into that key, and then you don't have to fool around with the search mask. It's really neat. I'm going to show you how to do it right now. if you're going to create a key on an endgame, let's say all the bishop and pawn endgames, you can put it under endgames if you're going to do a search for all isolated d-pawn positions in a batch of games. You could put it under strategy. What I like to do, just for me, is to put it under themes. That's just an organizational thing. Everything under themes is going to be something I know that I created, so that's why I do it this way. When you click on the Themes tab, you get 4 buttons. You don't want install big key and small key. They install opening keys. That's not what we want. And what select key does is it allows you to copy a full theme key from an existing database into this database. Not what I want, because I don't need all that. I just need the keys for the searches that I'm going to do again and again and again. So what I'll do instead is install empty key. I'll click on install empty key. Just that quick. It has created 2 files on your hard drive. 2 new files that are going to hold the keys and the pointers to the games. You don't really need to know that. All you need to know is that ChessBase has created 2 new files and you're ready to go. Now, how do you start creating keys? Now, here's where it gets fun. Right click, go to Edit, and go to Insert New Key. You can also hit the Insert button on your keyboard. That's another way to do it. But if you just don't want to take your hand off the mouse, just right click, Edit, and Insert New Key. Now what this looks like is the search mask. This looks awfully familiar. You've seen it 1,000 times if you've had ChessBase for a while. However, this isn't the search mask. It looks like it, but it's not. Notice at the top it doesn't say anything about defining a search or search mask. What it says is define key mask. It works just like the search mask, but instead of doing a search, it's going to allow you to define an index in your theme key. For example, I do a lot of searches for short games, quick wins, miniatures. I want to see the quickest way to clobber somebody in a particular opening. So what we do is come down here to moves, and we change the 0 to a 1, and I use the keyboard, but you can also use the little arrow buttons here. For example, I want 1 to 20. So we can go over here to this down arrow button, click it twice, and we have moves 1 through 20. That's all we want right now, so we click OK, and we get this little narrow window with a flashing cursor. It says 1 through 20 and OK. Now, if I wanted just to say 1 through 20, I would click OK now and I'd have a key, but that's not very descriptive. You know, if I go away for a year to an Antarctic expedition and come back and open this database again, I may not remember what 1 through 20 means. So I want to make it something a little more meaningful and relevant. So I can highlight it, since we have a flashing cursor there, and I can type in quick wins, and we'll just say 20 moves or less. And then come over here to the far right and click the OK button. And now we have a new key. It says quick wins, 20 moves or less, but notice over here at the far right it says 0 games. Now I know good and well, because I've been a Cochrane player for a long time and I've been working with databases of Cochrane games for quite a while, there are some quick wins in the Cochrane. So what do we do next? How do we get the games sorted into this key? Well, here's what we do. Follow along. We go up here to the top to these menus, and we go to the menu that says opening keys. This isn't an opening key. Just trust me. And click on it. And what you have is a list, a string of buttons up here. One of them says classify all keys. You'll remember this from last video. We had to classify our opening keys after we copied them over. So we'll click classify all keys. And you'll recall last week that the only option we have is openings. That was the only one of these keys that we had. We didn't have a theme key then. We just had an opening key. So everything else was in halftone. Now we notice that themes is available to us. We just created a theme key. We could click OK here, but I don't see any real reason to reclassify these openings. They're already classified. So I'll unclick openings. I just want to do themes. Click OK. It flashes a couple times. You're going to think nothing happened. Something happened. Okay, we'll come back here to home, then to themes. Quick wins, 20 moves or less, 94 games. Click on it. Wait a moment. There's all our games. And look in the moves column. They're all less than 20 moves. So now I don't have to type in 1 through 20 every time I want to do a search. when I'm in a game list, oh, where's all the short games? Well, I remember that I have a theme key for it, so instead of having to, filter list and type moves 1 through 20, I don't have to do that anymore. All I have to do is go to themes, quick wins. There's my games. Pretty cool. Now let's say we want to do another, let's say white wins, since I'm going to be playing this from the white side. Well, all we do, right click, edit, insert new key. Again. So we do it again. Notice that we still have our previous criteria in here. We don't want that now, so we're going to click reset to reset everything. Now all we want is white wins, so we can go here to result 1-0, click it, click OK. 1-0. Let's change it. White wins. Click OK, and there we have another key that we've created. Anything that you can search for in the search mask can be turned into a key. Anything. Edit, insert new key, reset, material. 1 through 8 pawns, 1 through 8 pawns. Not that I'm expecting to find many games in which this is a theme, but I'm kind of curious. Because if I just do 1 through 8, 1 through 8, and click OK here, what that means is we're going to be looking for games in which that are just pure king and pawn endings. I don't expect to find many in the Cochrane, but I could be dead wrong. So we'll find out. We'll click OK. And here we have 1 through 8 pawns, 1 through 8 pawns. Change it, king and pawn endings. And we will click OK. And now we have another key up here, king and pawn endings. So, opening keys, classify all keys, uncheck openings, we're just classifying theme keys, click OK. Takes a moment. After it's done, home, themes. 14 king and pawn ending games. I knew it. 341 white wins, but we've only got 14 games that were pure king and pawn endings. And one more that I'm curious about before we go on, which is edit, insert new key, reset, go back to game data. I want games in which one player was rated 2,500 and up. Click OK. Bing, 2,500, 3,500. GM games. Click OK. Not going to find many here either, I'm sure. Classify all keys. Uncheck openings, go to themes, click OK. Classifies the games. Go back home, themes. And we have 16 games that were Grandmaster games. And here they are. Click on this index key, and down here we have a list of the games in which at least one player was a Grandmaster, or 2,500 and up, even if they didn't actually have the title. We'll just say 2,500 is Grandmaster strength. So there we go. That's how you create your own keys, and you can do as many of these as you want. You can just make a whole list, and you can also create sub-keys. We're not going to get into that right now where you layer keys in. You kind of drill down into sub-keys, sub-classifications within other classifications, but that's possible as well. But for right now, this is all you need to know to create your own keys. Just remember that anything you can search for in the search mask can be looked for and created as a key, classify and sort the games into it, and all you got to do is just click on that classification to get your list of games, double click on a game, jumps you right to the position, and we can see how the game played out. This one ends in mate. So I'm going to take a look at this while you go off and create some theme keys of your own. So until next time at ChessBase Workshop, I'm Steve Lopez, reminding you to please do have fun.